Yo, what's up? If you guys are not named Azazel underscore 87, this video is not for you. I would, kindly ask you to turn off the YouTube and go do something else with yourself. If you are, however, Azazel 87, this video is for you. So I received your whisper and decided I'm going to just record a video for you because there's so much to talk about, and I know you can learn a little bit of something on how I would approach making a tree for a character. So yeah, Chieftain, um, Purifying Flame, Chieftain. So let's start off. There's a lot to talk about. Avatar Fire unnecessary, unspec, because Purifying Flame already converts 50% to fire, and the Ascendancy converts 50% to fire. That gives us 100% conversion, and that is a whole. No more than 100% conversion is necessary. And by not picking up Avatar Fire, we can also stack Cold, Lightning, and all sorts of other effects, for spells that could benefit our build, right? So there it is. No need for Avatar Fire. Secondly, Ramaku's Sun's Light, I wouldn't pick up that because all we're getting here is actually just resistance penetration, which we easily can get off of Combustion Gem. Burning and more Ignite damage is irrelevant for us because this is not an Ignite build. Even though it's a fire build, Ignite stacking and, crit fire build are completely two different things that you would spec completely differently with. There could be merits to make one with a Chieftain, but this is not it. So I will unspec and instead pick up this thing for passive way of generating permanent endurance charges. That's awesome. Now with Warlord's Mark nerf being gone, we get permanent endurance charges off of this, and physical and fire damage increases per endurance charge. That's 30% increase, and it's kind of like double dipping because you got the conversion and then the fire. So there it is. Awesome sauce. Secondly, let's talk about life. When you create a character that's your entire, defensive, like you don't have any defensive layers for this character, and having 145% increased max life for a character on a tree like this basically means that, well, you're gonna die. You're gonna die a lot, and yeah, so not good. So yeah, being a Marauder, starting off with the Marauder early over here, you're missing out on one of the best nodes of life in the tree. So I would not miss that one out. We're looking at level 89 currently. Your tree was actually level 90 with Avatar of Fire. So this was like your original tree that you sent me. So what I would do is I would go and pick up all the life nodes because your build is really lacking with life. Okay. Your build is really lacking with percent life, right? So I would totally do something like this, pick up the jewel node here and get into Constitution, again the best node of life in the tree. I would trim some things, such as, since we don't need Avatar of Fire in our build, what I would actually do is trim this entire thing simply by going through here and chop chop, kill all this thing. Now what are we doing here? This is very inefficient. Basically, we're using 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 5 travel nodes for just one jewel socket. No good. Instead, we're picking up one strength node, and there we go. That's way more useful. If we need some stuff on the left side over here, we will pick it up, and then we only have a 2 jewel socket. What you do is you skip out on those things. So I wouldn't go this route anyways, and probably in any build, but let's say specifically for this build, I wouldn't go there because originally you went there for Avatar of Fire. Now that you don't need it, this is how it looks like, and we're using all these nodes, including this one originally, to travel just to get 45 crit multi, which is definitely decent, but not worth. There's 12 points over here with these 12% life, so I would unspec all of this, just completely trim it. And also, let's take another closer look over here. Life, I would totally unspec this over here. Life, I mean, cast speed nodes from the tree. There is a lot of cast speed to be gained from Shaper Gloves, from Profane Wands. They give you 14% implicit. Spending life cast speed nodes on the tree is fairly inefficient unless they're like really strong, and we'll go through that. So I would unspec these cast speed nodes, especially with spell echo and things, you can get a whole lot of cast speed. And since I played already, I already know that a build like this does not need that much cast speed. And when you're making a build, don't invest so many points on cast speed on your tree. Just see how it goes. Build like a skeleton tree, and then if you need the cast speed, spec into it at the cost of other things. But don't like plan to go, 40 cast speed from the tree or whatever, which is something that you did here. I don't know about 40, but these nodes, I wouldn't pick them up. Same thing with area damage. These nodes might be okay. I wouldn't pick them up. So I'll just remove them over here. Yeah, so nextly, we're picking up quick recovery because it's a tremendous cluster for us, for the mono regen and for the life. And I would argue this, we got 4, 4, and 8 cast speed. That's 16 cast speed. So instead of going and doing this entire detour with this, you just simply pick up 1 and 2 and you save yourself because it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 points, right? So you just trim this, and if you really need the cast speed, instead of investing the 3 points here and then 4 traveling nodes, you just simply go 2 points here, and if you really need the cast speed, you just go Witch's cast speed, which is good because it's 12%. It's fairly similar. There's no difference between 12 and 16% with the way a character plays, with frenzies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you'll be able to get it quite easily through here if you really need it. But again, for the sake of how I would make a build, I wouldn't invest in Witch's cast speed nodes over here. I would strictly go through here. You don't pick up Mind Over Matter, which is fine because then you can reserve Anger, you can reserve Heralds, whatever you want to reserve, banners, whatever. But if you're not reserving, if you're not using Mind Over Matter, there's no reason to pick up these 3 nodes, so let's unspec those as well. When we're making our tree, before the character exists, we don't want to put any jewel nodes, we just want the skeleton build, so we'll remove this as well. What we're left with, unless this is a permanent node, obviously we're going to pick it up no matter what for just 1 point, since we're reaching Constitution with the option of increasing more life over here. Crit multi and this cluster is fairly useful for a build like yours, so I would definitely pick it up. Got some movement speed, some crit, a bunch of good cast speed nodes. That is definitely a worthy investment for the points that you're investing. And again, you do it again, you are near very, very strong life nodes and you're not picking them up. So, and this is a very good cast speed node, so we'll definitely pick that one up, 6%. What we're left here is this tree and another glaring, I don't know what to call it, but you didn't pick up the phase acro and acro over here, which are pretty huge defensive layer, especially for a character that doesn't have any defensive layers outside of kill them before they kill you. Being able to dodge 40% of all attacks and 30% of all spells is pretty huge. For your character in avoiding damage. Crit life seems pretty good. We basically got most of all our crit nodes on the tree. The crit for spells that we didn't get are these. I don't think it's worthy getting them because it's just too much travel nodes, and it can be easily made up with a couple of jewel sockets. Will pretty much give you similar values, so I wouldn't go there. And there it is, a fairly achievable level 89 tree. If we trim a couple of life nodes over here and there, we got ourselves a level 85 tree, 83 tree, with a little bit less life, to get a more realistic picture of how you would level up a character. Level 83 tree, we're talking like early map, tier 4, tier 5 mapping around that kind of level, and that's how your tree should look like. And if we look at a tree like this at level 83, we see that we have 201% increased maximum life, with the potential of level 89 being with, drum roll, 228 life. Now that is a beefy Chieftain. You can easily get 7k HP with a character like this. 228 is pretty insane, and we even have a jewel socket over here, so that's like level 87 character right there. All right, and this is how I would pick up. That's how I would build a Purifying Flame Chieftain, Mr. Azazel. This video is strictly for you, but I don't know if somebody watched it. Maybe they learned something. That's how we build a character. There's lots of like next up would probably be a bunch of I don't know. Actually, this is a very good strong node. Firewalker. Yeah, almost missed it. So fire damage, cast speed with fire skills, and fire resists for just 2 points and 10% elemental damage. That's a really good two-node cluster, small cluster of two nodes that you should absolutely pick up. And that's how my Purifying Flame character would look like if I went crit. If I went non-crit, of course, Elemental Overload and other shenanigans, that's a different tree entirely. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, Mr. Azazel. This one was for you. Take care.